Hello humans, Master DinnerFlax here, and today I'm going to be going over a very quick video about an interaction that I'm surprised I haven't seen very much of. I'm just going to go ahead straight into it. So the issue I have with Windwitches is that they invest a lot of deck space and a lot of cards into effectively nothing. Like a Crystal Wing that's immune to destruction, but as we know, destruction isn't the only way to get rid of cards, and it's only hard to deal with in theory. A single kaiju outs it, and the issue with that, even worse, is that Wind Witches, they don't even pay, they like pay for themselves, but you don't gain any card advantage for the Crystal Wing. So when they kaiju you, you've invested like several restrictions, a bunch of deck space to a Crystal Wing that could easily get Kaiju'd or Mirror Force or anything. Literally, it just doesn't survive. But I noticed another interaction that I don't see people doing, which I actually find fantastic. Now, first and foremost, if you're under the mentality that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a first turn game about build a board and it's unbreakable, I'm going to tell you right now, you are just so wrong. This format has nothing to do with turn one. This format is actually really damage oriented, like effect and battle damage. So like the game can last several turns. There's no building negation anymore. Like it's not like we have Infinity and 38 fields anymore, or Felgrand or whatever. Like we just don't have that anymore. So I was thinking, maybe we should maybe you should like stop saying things like, "Oh, once you do this, it's unbreakable," because it's not. Trust me. There's currently not a board in the game that isn't breakable and easily breakable. So, keeping this in mind, let's take a look at these Wind Witches. So, if you for some reason don't know the combo, you special summon Ice Spell, special summon Glass Spell, inflict 500 damage. You're gonna chain these around. So, Chain Link 1 is Glass and Chain Link 2 is Ice. This allows you to search while being ignored from Ash, but it's kind of dumb anyways, because if they have the Ash, they were going to stop this anyways. But it's just to play around a few cards that can happen from time to time. Uh, and then you're grabbing this with Glass Spell, and that will allow you to special summon it because you control two winds. You synchro these two into any Synchro 7, commonly Winter Bell, to do an additional 800 damage by targeting Glass Spell, and then you'll use this to make Crystal Wing, and this allows a Synchro monster using it to be cannot be destroyed by card effects. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead, and you all know the issues with this. Like, it's good-ish. Um, if you're devoting to the Crystal Wing, this card and this card are technically cards you never want to draw, but you want to draw this one and only one of it, because as soon as you do it, all these cards become dead. And the engine itself promotes slow play because you have a Crystal Wing, but it restricted you insanely hard. So it's really just as simple as that. It's a engine that highly restricts you, yet plays like you're making a turn one unbreakable board, which can cause a lot of bricking. However, I'm going to go ahead and get into something you should try instead when you're understanding your matchup, or you're not too sure of the matchup. So, your first time you have this, if you have Ice Spell and not Snowbell, special summon Ice Spell, special summon Glass Spell, do that. Search Ice Spell. You're like, hold on, you're such a scrub. What are you doing? You're making this guy or this guy, which these guys are actually insanely good. Like, they're not as powerful as Crystal Wing, but they're also way more consistent than Crystal Wing. Um, and they're actually really good against the meta. This one especially against Pendulums, the new Pendulum Magician. This card is fantastic against. And you're gonna ask, well, what's this for? Well, Here's the difference. When you search Ice Spell with this combo, you are now +1 without a normal summon yet. You have I want to compare it to Lost Winds. This kind of is like a Lost Wind, except it changes it to 0, which is nice. It's very nice. And then when this dies, or if it dies, you have a follow-up of a Crystal Wing. So, when they spend their resources breaking this, it makes this card far more devastating. And you don't even have to do that either. You could also do another follow-up play like that. Using this and then searching it for next turn is a follow-up. And despite what many people think, it's actually a pretty slow format, and it's a lot more about battle damage and effect damage. So this is fantastic. This is a fantastic play. I've been testing this quite a bit. Um, it's a fantastic route of play. It doesn't always, if you're going in against something completely blind, you see a 15 card extra deck, but you're very confused, Crystal Wing, usually the best way to go. But if you're going up against something like Paleo or Magicians, you want to go for these guys, honestly, because those cards are not only are they no investment, but they actually gain you card advantage from that investment, and they have a follow-up. So I just wanted to go over this. And also it's really important because it makes Glass Spell a less like Brick. Because when you do this, Glass Spell is fine to just summon because you're searching a follow-up. You're not just losing just by having it in your deck like this. Um, and it allows you to play Spellbook Knowledge with this, which is pretty good. Yeah, so that's a little bit of a rant. It's just so the summary of this is certain plays you should focus less on having indestructible quotes Crystal Wing, and you should focus more on putting pressure on your opponent. And I think this is a very fantastic way to do it. There's always going to be times where you feel like Crystal Wing is better, and sometimes you just don't, but it all depends. You shouldn't focus on Crystal Wing if you're playing against Paleo and you know they have the Dino Miscuits or the whatever one book moons it, because then it makes that investment worthless. It makes it entirely worthless. While this, it isn't. It isn't a worthless investment. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you all for watching. Yeah, that's all I have to say about this. Hopefully you actually take this with a little more thought, because it's pretty neat. Thank you all for watching, and remember, Master DinnerFlax will take your soul.